Beautiful November day for football here at Bill Snyder Family Stadium, right on the heels of Thanksgiving. Welcome into K-State game day as the Wildcats get set to take on Iowa State in Farmageddon. All right, K-State fans, do it with me. Exhale. K-State wins one of the wildest football games you'll ever see, 45-40 at Boone Pickens Stadium here in Stillwater to get bowl eligible. Great day of football going on to open the 2017 season. The upset of the day taking place in the Big 12 Conference, Texas and Maryland. The Wildcats looking for a little more non-conference momentum coming off of a very impressive win on Friday, 3-1 after scoring just 3 goals all season. They put up 3 in one game. It was a lot of offense. What a call and what a win today for K-State over Iowa State as the Wildcats storm back down 19-7 in the fourth quarter and left for dead, outgained by 120-plus yards in this one. K-State wins it to get to now 7-5 on the season. Tell you what, I was coming down in the elevator with some other members of the media. About 5 minutes left in the game. We had chalked it up. There's going to be no bowl trip. This game's a loss. I had this whole sheet written down in notes ready to go. Take that and get rid of it, man. We got a new one to go with here because K-State needed that win desperately. All in all, K-State players were not really into making excuses. They said it wasn't legs, it wasn't being too hyped up for this game. Instead, it may have just been the Kansas zone, which took K-State out of what they wanted to do offensively. A big reason why Jesse Ertz may lead this team to a double-digit win season is the skill positions, which seem to be just about as loaded as they've been really since I can remember. Probably have to go back to 2012. John Kurtz here with your in-game update. Rivalry weekend in college football. Perhaps the biggest rivalry, Ohio State and Michigan, has gone final from earlier today. Early on, it looked like Michigan may actually steal the show as they jumped out with a 14-0 lead. But Ohio State would come charging back. A 1-yard touchdown run from J.K. Dobbins would put Ohio State up, and that would put them up for good, 21-20. At that point in time, he had 101 yards rushing. Then Ohio State turns to Mike Weber, their other spectacular back. This is a 25-yard TD run that put the finishing touches on what winds up being a 31-20 win for Ohio State. The other OSU, Oklahoma State, put it on Kansas today. This is Mason Rudolph to Dylan Stoner for 76 yards and a touchdown, 24-3 early for Oklahoma State. They would pour it on late. You know about the big game pass attack that they have. Rudolph hooks up with James Washington, 30 yards out. It's 41-10 at that point for Oklahoma State. They go on to roll Kansas by a final of 58-17. Georgia takes care of Georgia Tech 38-7 earlier today. Jake Fromm, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns through the air. And, of course, the biggest game of the day, Auburn with the early lead on Alabama, 7-0 in the first quarter. Winner of that game, 7 of the last 8 years, has gone on to win the national championship. Also, Oklahoma, the early lead on West Virginia, 7-0 in the first. Beautiful November day for football here at Bill Snyder Family Stadium, right on the heels of Thanksgiving. Welcome into K-State game day as the Wildcats get set to take on Iowa State in Farmageddon here at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. John Kurtz joined by former Wildcat tight end Travis Tannehill. K-State coming into this game looking for win number 7. They are now bowl eligible after that 45-40 win over Oklahoma State last week. And Travis, you look back at that one, that is one of the craziest games we've seen in a while. Not only how the game unfolded, but the fact that K-State won. Biggest underdog win for K-State per Vegas in the history of them keeping track of that.
Yeah, it was a huge win for Kansas State in this Bill Snyder program. It was really the most complete game they've put together all year on offense, defense, and special teams, which is really what they needed to win that game. So I look for that to carry that momentum throughout this game. But Oklahoma State, a very, very good opponent, obviously with a top 10 team like they were. And it was just really nice to finally see a Kansas State team play like we thought they could have played all year. It was finally nice to see them hit their stride and make some big plays for them.
Yeah, that really is the K-State team we thought we would have, one that could compete potentially for a Big 12 championship. And they did it both offensively and defensively. It wasn't all through the air. Alex Barnes helped provide a balanced attack. And, of course, Skylar Thompson really got going in this one as well. He hooked up with Byron Pringle for 3 touchdowns in the game. And all of a sudden, K-State found themselves up 42-13. Not sure anyone saw that coming.
Yeah, the Kansas State team, which doesn't necessarily put up huge points in a hurry most of the time, but under that leadership of Skylar Thompson there, as we're seeing on the screen, just a wonderful performance by him. He has that. He obviously has the physical skills, but we're starting to see him come into his own and gain a little confidence and really play at the caliber of player we thought he was coming out of high school.
Yeah, Skylar Thompson, really the most talented quarterback in terms of the pedigree recruiting-wise that K-State's had in the program for a long time. The former four-star recruit really made improvements from start one to start two, and he wound up with the best quarterback rating of any K-State freshman quarterback ever in a game last week.
And he really threw the ball well, which he's an athletic kid. We see him run the ball, and I think early on in his first couple starts, they were maybe trying to protect him maybe a little too much. But I mean, this is college football. You got to run the quarterback run game a little bit, and if he gets hurt, he gets hurt. We'll find a way to make up for that. But his efficiency was great, as you see there, 10 for 13, 3 touchdowns, and he threw the long ball exceptionally well, which is a nice change and a nice refreshment, because sometimes we miss those long balls. They just make such a big difference, and they obviously put points up on the board in a hurry.
Yeah, the arm talent is definitely there for Skylar Thompson, and check out the rushing numbers as well. As you said, man, this guy can run the ball in addition to throwing it. 93 yards and a touchdown. Really felt like that opening drive where they utilized him running the football was a statement drive for K-State. What a difference 2 weeks makes. Just that long ago, K-State was reeling. The Wildcats lost in heartbreaking fashion at Kansas. They were below 500 in the Big 12 and without one of their stars in Kamau Stokes. The Bruce Weber Doubters were back out in full force. But now the Wildcats have won 3 straight Big 12 games for the first time in 4 years. They also just picked up a resume-building non-con win over Georgia. Their reward? Another shot at the Jayhawks, this time in Manhattan.
It's a big game. There are in-state rivals also, so that adds it a little more to it. And you know, it's a great opportunity for us, and we'll come out and give them a fight.
I mean, it'll still be my first time beating them, so I mean, I'm looking forward to this game. I've played them a number of times, I think 5 maybe, and or 6 maybe. I've yet to come out with a win, so hopefully we can continue this winning streak we got right now.
The loss 2 weeks ago in Lawrence still sticks to the minds of K-State fans. Barry Brown missed a 3-pointer at the buzzer for the win. K-State was that close to their first W in 3 years over their bitter rivals. Can the Wildcats count on home court making the ultimate difference?
I think we learned something from last year. Even though it came down to the end and we had a shot and we didn't make it, being at home doesn't mean you're guaranteed to win. And, you know, they're good. They know how to make plays. They find ways to win games. You got to find a way to make those plays when it counts.
If they do, they'll have a share of first place in the Big 12 for the first time in 5 years. Survive and advance. It's the name of the game in the NCAA tournament, and also you have a game against an SEC opponent with Kansas right around the corner. The Wildcats do survive and beat Georgia 56-51 here at Bramlage Coliseum to set up a very exciting Big Monday matchup with Kansas. This was a game in which Dean Wade and Barry Brown did have their issues. Dean Wade missed 10 shots in this game. Barry Brown didn't even crack double figures, but yet the Wildcats found a way to win. And it was those two that really took over down the stretch. Cartier-Jara finally pulled K-State even in the second half after the Wildcats trailed by 3 to 5 points seemingly the entire half. And Barry Brown and Dean Wade took it from there, scoring 9 of the final 12 to get K-State over the hump. And as far as that's concerned, not panicking when K-State is in that kind of a situation coming down the home stretch, it's an area where K-State's improved a lot, according to Dean Wade.
You know, I think we've matured a lot since then. Just at the end of games, we don't panic like we used to, and you know, we're playing strong, confident. I think it's just all just getting a little more experience just helps us confidence and maturity a lot.
Well, this certainly wasn't pretty, as you can tell by the final score, a game in the 50s, but it's just a game K-State flat out had to have. Throw out any style points. K-State didn't need any of that. This did not need to be pretty. You just needed to find a W next to K-State when it's all said and done, and the Wildcats got that accomplished. So often in the Bruce Weber era, we've seen games like this trip up the Wildcats after building plenty of momentum and getting wins over ranked teams. Beating top 10, top 15 teams has never been the real issue with Bruce Weber. It's been stringing it together consistently. Now the Wildcats have won 4 in a row. This really boosts their NCAA tournament resume. It's their best non-conference win. They've won 5 of 6 overall. And now they get another crack at Kansas. How fun is that game going to be on Monday? First place in the Big 12 on the line. Wildcats will tie for first if they beat the Jayhawks. They can also extract revenge from a controversial finish earlier this year in Lawrence. Well, K-State is 1-0. The Wildcats get a victory tonight, 55-19 over Central Arkansas as they start the 2017 season off on the right foot. I'm John Kurtz. Welcome into postgame coverage here on K-State HD TV. We have Bill Snyder's press conference coming up in just a little bit and some highlights from this one. K-State now 23-3 in season openers under Bill Snyder. A bit of a slow start, but the Wildcats would get going with a DJ Reed return, 96 yards to the 4. I say slow start. This on the opening kickoff. DJ Reed just could not quite take it all the way to the house. Eventually, the Wildcats would punch it in after Reed's return. A 1-yard TD run here for Alex Barnes, and it was 7-0 K-State just a minute and 2 seconds into the game. Later, Matthew McCrane would tack on a 53-yard field goal for K-State that tied his career long, the third 50-plus yarder of his career. Central Arkansas, though, showed some fight. As I mentioned, a bit of a slow start defensively for K-State. This is a 37-yard touchdown run for Brandon Cox, capping off a 75-yard drive. It was tied at 10 with a minute 27 left in the first. Jesse Ertz then finds Isaiah Harris, who had a 100-yard receiving game. This one goes 25 yards. He had a 24-yard catch as well in the game. And then threading the needle, Jesse Ertz in the back corner of the end zone. It is hauled in by Isaiah Zuber, his third career touchdown. At that point, K-State up 17-10. Ertz not done. How about this move from Byron Pringle? See you later. Pringle showing why he has been much hyped throughout this fall camp, and he takes that one all the way to the house, part of a big game that Byron Pringle had. Later on, DJ Reed back at it again. He'll take a punt return 62 yards for a touchdown. Reed earning all Big 12 accolades for his returning ability, showing why. Nearly 2 touchdowns in this one, and now he gets involved defensively as well with an interception, 4th of his career. Almost had a shot at a return on that one as well. Here's Jesse Ertz uncorking one deep down the field before halftime. Dalton Schoen with his first career catch. How's that for your first career action? A 70-yard touchdown pitch and catch there. 2 50-plus yard TDs in the first half for the Wildcats. It was 38-16, K-State at the half. Then Jesse Ertz goes back to the Byron Pringle well, 48 yards in the third quarter. It would eventually set up a field goal from Matthew McCrane. This one a 28-yarder for McCrane, one of the most accurate kickers in the country. 41-16 Cats, 10:22 mark of the third quarter. Going deep all game long was Jesse Ertz. This time it's Isaiah Harris's turn to find pay dirt, as he will finish this one off. 64-yard touchdown pass from Ertz to Harris. More 50-yard touchdown plus passes for K-State in this game than they had the entire season last year. Cats at that point up 48-19. Now the defense gets involved. Look at this hit from Elijah Sullivan, the linebacker, getting his action as a Wildcat. It's scooped up by Denzel Goolsby, K-State starting safety. Then Skylar Thompson playing at quarterback with Jesse Ertz out of the game. Known for his arm, but how about the legs? 18 yards on the first career carry of Skylar Thompson. That would set up Dalvin Warmack. He would get into the end zone for the first time in his career. This was an 18-yard touchdown run for Warmack. 52-yard drive for the Cats, 6 plays. And at the 12:35 mark of the fourth quarter, K-State was rolling. Getting a chance to see some newcomers for the Wildcats in this game. One of those is Eli Walker. Makes a tackle for loss as soon as he gets into the ball game. And then K-State would force their third turnover of the game. Long return would eventually be wiped out, but Brogan Berry with the hit on the quarterback, and Kyle Ball almost took this one back for a touchdown. A penalty would remove some of that return, but the K-State defense with its third forced turnover of the game. And it all adds up to a 55-19 Wildcat victory. Here's another long Skylar Thompson rush before it's all said and done. A 30-yarder this time, so 48 yards on a couple carries there for Skylar Thompson, as he had a couple chunk runs in the football game. Cats in this one over 500 yards of total offense, 519-399. They outgained Central Arkansas, although UCA did dominate time of possession. But look at the passing yards, 333 for K-State. Wildcat streak of 200-plus yard rushing games, which was at 7 in a row after last year, is snapped. But you have to like what you saw from Jesse Ertz and company throwing the football in this one.